Good evening. I am Glenora Shipura, bringing you news, community stories, weather, economics, and much more on this Monday evening. Joining me in studio is Irene Marie van der Veld. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good, Glenora. How are you doing?
I haven't seen your face in a while, and it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Always great to be with you.
Well, getting into the news tonight, His Excellency President Oneuptwo jetted off to Angola this morning as part of his SADC familiarization mission as new president. He left for Angola at 10:30 a.m. for a one-day official visit. This follows an envoy led by Defense Minister Franz Kapofi Bumba sent last week to deliver a letter to Angolan President João Lourenço. On Wednesday last week, Lourenço also sent Special Envoy of Angola, Ambassador Antonio Tete, Minister of External Relations, to Bumba to discuss several matters. However, the presidency is to make details of these meetings public.
So there seem to be very serious and urgent matters between Namibia and Angola. There was an envoy at State House last week, and then there was a letter that was delivered by the Defense Minister, Honorable Kapofi, last week to President Lourenço, and now you are going there as well. Can you share with us what exactly are these issues that are being discussed? And I understand some of it includes mining.
In the first place, is this the first time you are hearing how close Namibia is in Angola? No. Minister Kapofi went to say thank you for the support we got, including the equipment they gave us. You have seen their planes in the air. That was his mission. Mine is in terms of tradition, that if you are a head of state, new in the office, you must report yourself to others. First, I'm going to Angola. Next time I go another country, to our neighbors and so on. So there is nothing particularly special now. It's only that this time we are duty bound to perform these things, to honor the SADC tradition, to honor the friendship we have enjoyed so far with our neighbors, and for the Angolan president to have come here, spent 2 nights, was among the last to leave with the president of Botswana. So we have to thank them, and in their own territory, not while they are here. Thank you very much. Enjoy the week.
What's your take on the presidency, making details of this meeting public?
I think it speaks a lot to what people have been saying about Oneuptwo. As journalists, we always have an ear to the ground. You have your people in the streets, and the overwhelming message that I personally have been getting about him is that he's very steadfast in his morals, in his values, that he's very transparent, that he's all these wonderful things. And I think him doing something that the Namibian nation has asked for so long, just that plain transparency, I think says a lot about him, and I think says a lot about how good he is as a candidate to have taken over, under the circumstances that he did. More than anything, Namibia now needs to show that we are stable, that we are, happy-go-lucky. We're sad, obviously, that Hage Geingob has passed away, but to have such a calm, transparent character come in and take the reins.
And take the reins until the next elections. And like you said, a lot of people were commenting the Namibian government on how, there was a smooth transition of power under the circumstances, which was not the best of circumstances, like you said. And now that you mentioned as well, like when you have such a character, a president like him, it's great to also keep that peace, till we come to, to the elections and we elect a new president.
Yeah. And I think Mbumba, who is also kind of known by a lot of people for having this incredible integrity, I think him going on this mission, it's easy to say, okay, we're about to elect a new president in about 10 minutes, what's the point of this? But him going out to say, listen, look at me, I'm not hiding in the shadows, this is who I am, this is the man who took over under these challenging circumstances. We're not hiding away, we're not hiding anything. There's not any turmoil in the country. We are peaceful, we are safe, we are doing what we used to do.
Well said, well said. Now getting into our next story, the 4th Sustainable Development Awards has officially been launched with 11 categories this year, including the Sustainable Mining and Exploration Activities, which has been added as a new category this year. The awards are slated to be held on the 19th of June, with the deadline for nominations closing on the 11th of April. Launching the awards, Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta said that the late President Hage Geingob was the architect of the Namibian Constitution and a staunch advocate for environmental sustainability and instrumental in embedding principles of sustainability. Today, we dedicate these awards to his memory, celebrating his commitment to the betterment of Namibia and his transformative vision that continues to shape our nation. Shifeta said that the 4th edition of the awards emerges at a crucial juncture, urging Namibia to confront the urgency of climate challenges with collective action. The awards recognize institutions and individuals across several categories, and these include the private sector champions for sustainable development, community-level natural resource management and utilization initiatives, research and development to reward outstanding pieces of research or innovations in the field of sustainable development, and youth action for sustainable development, which focuses on youth leadership and initiatives in the area of sustainable development. Do you think this is a great way to encourage more individuals to have, an eye on how they operate? Are we environmentally conscious and so forth? Would you say this is the right step, or is it wrong to award doing the right thing?
No, I think definitely it's correct to award doing the right thing. If you want a certain kind of behavior, reward it. The question is, what is the reward? Because when you think about, there are certain rules and regulations in place, especially pertaining to mining, with the new category, for how mines should clean up, how mines should leave the piece of earth that they've excavated after they've left. And a lot of mines don't do that, So if you give them 100,000 Namibian dollars, but it costs them 6 million to clean up after themselves.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Are we even encouraging, or is it just people that are doing it because, hey, I'm just going to get 100 million out of this?
Then on the flip side, there's also a case to be made. There's a theory, a generational theory, that suggests that one generation's external beliefs becomes a next generation's internal belief. So maybe even if we're not doing it for this generation, maybe we're doing it for the next generation.
In the
to
future,
have that little voice inside of them.
that where like I know as growing up as somebody, it was just always told, don't litter, don't litter, don't litter, you know what I'm saying? And now I am, if I see somebody even throw out, like while driving, they throw out a piece of whatever it is that they were eating and they throw out, I'm just so shocked at that. But it's because it was ingrained in me at a very, very young age. And maybe you're right, like if we start implementing these at such a level that at some point it becomes, part of your conscious or subconscious, it feels even weird when you don't do it that way.
And it won't necessarily take as long as a couple of generations. I mean, people who are now coming into the mining industry, for them to, start their careers on this foot, being conscious of these kinds of awards, that this kind of behavior is rewarded, maybe that changes something for them.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully. Getting into our next story, concerns has been expressed with regards to the low levels of the Chobe River to the west of Ngoma, where dozens of hippos may once again get stranded in mud pools. In August 2019, more than 60 hippos were trapped in the shallow waters of the Chobe River between Namibia and Botswana, which was drying out due to drought. An emergency borehole was successfully drilled to pump water into the Chobe River pond, where the about 68 hippos were stranded in the drying river at that time. According to Simon Micheletti from the Wild Waters Group and chairperson of the Namibian Wetlands Route, he was on the floodplains earlier on Saturday, and although the situation is not yet critical, they need to get ready because it will get critical in the next few weeks. Micheletti said that this is a typical landscape expected in September or October, but it is now only March. Asked about the situation, Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta also expressed grave concern about the situation and said that the ministry is monitoring it closely. Well, hopefully, they are rescued and
Hopefully.
yes. Well, getting into our next story, the customs officers of the Namibian Revenue Agency stopped the importation of Mandrex tablets worth $1.9 million Namibian dollars. According to a release, the shipment was intercepted at Adamsvlei border post when a Namibian truck driver was caught on his way back from South Africa. The investigation of the truck led to the discovery of the drugs, and the suspect was taken to a first appearance at the Karasburg Magistrate Court, where his trial was postponed until the 16th of May 2024. This is very interesting. I'm always of the opinion, and maybe it's a naive opinion, that it's very hard to, smuggle things in the country or out of the country. But to see that this is actually a common thing, and I'm a bit shocked that it's with truck drivers, and so this shocked me. Do you think this is a common thing, or like as a country we need to maybe up our security in terms of immigration control and so forth?
Again, I'm going to turn to us journalists, have an ear on the ground, and what you're hearing from the community is that drugs are so normalized, Every young person who's gone out partying knows about drugs. They know how to identify somebody who's on drugs because they've seen it so much. So maybe it happens more often than we catch the criminals, and I think that's why it's important that we make an example of them in court, especially with these huge amounts.
Yeah, I hear you. In our next story, Rundu Bay's Ndama East Primary School, a makeshift school where learners from grade 0 to 8 are taught on tree logs under trees, faces an uncertain future as it continues its fight against the Kavango East Regional Education, refusing to shut down despite a directive to do so from the acting regional director, Christine Shilima. The disagreement revolves around the construction of a new school building. According to the school's spokesperson, Paulus Ndumba, the initial plan was to construct a new school building at the existing location where the school currently stands. However, Shilima raised concerns about the school's registration status, prompting her to erect a new school approximately 900 meters from the current site. Some parents and teachers have voiced their concerns, such as the increased walking distance that students would have to walk daily to reach the new school. Many students already cover significant distances to attend school. The idea of an additional kilometer to the new school is a concern to parents. Last year, on the 12th of October, the Kavango East Governor Bonifacius Wakadumo and Shilima chose to disregard the advice provided by the Office of the President of Namibia, led by President Hage Geingob. The presidency's office had unequivocally emphasized the need for re-engagement with all relevant stakeholders to find a solution that serves the best interests of the Ndama community, he said. I think there was a good direction from the late president office.
Yes.
I think we need to take into account that, this is a community, and like they said, he erected a school somewhere where it's also easier for the school kids to get there, and where they're going to go is a bit further, and there's all these issues now. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think the reasons for that move need to be made apparent. If the school can be built on the existing site, why isn't it? What's wrong with the existing site? If there is something legitimately foundationally wrong with the existing site, sure, move it a little bit farther. It is going to be harder for students, yes, absolutely, but you've got to pick your battles. But I think the reasons for why this site is deemed not fit to build a school on need to be made public.
As well. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Thank you so much, Irene, for coming in and sharing your thoughts on the stories.
Thank you, Lisa.
It's very, very much appreciated. Moving on, this Windhoek City Council has given approval to enlarge the Rocky Crest neighborhood with another extension. The details follow in our economic news segment after the break.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
The Windhoek City Council gave approval at its last meeting on the 29th of February 2024 to enlarge the Rocky Crest neighborhood with another extension. Rocky Crest Extension 8 is established south of the existing neighborhood. According to the municipality, the new extension will cover more than 250,000 square meters and contain up to 168 single residential plots, along with 3 general residential plots, 2 plots set out for institutional use, 1 business plot, 41 plots for limited business purposes, 5 open spaces, and 7 plots that the municipality itself will use. The neighborhood will have land available for a shopping center and also for a vocational training center and also for a nursery school. The limited business plots will be suitable for panel beating and spray painting workshops, motor vehicle mechanics, warehouses, carpentry services, and welding. Street names for the new neighborhood have also already been proposed. The proposed Rocky Crest Extension 8 development is located along the eastern boundary of the Ochomwese Road and located along the northwestern boundary of Bernd Carlson Road. Access to the new extension will also be provided through these roads. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 24.08, against the euro at 20.63. 2 Namibian dollars and 64 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, all major commodities went up, with Brent crude oil trading at 0.41%, going for $84 and 56 cents per barrel. At least 170 people were killed in northern Burkina Faso last week, while Haiti has called for a state of emergency. We delve into these international stories after the break. At least 170 people were killed in northern Burkina Faso last week, a regional prosecutor said in a statement on Sunday. Ali Benjamin Coulibaly said attackers targeted 4 villages in Yetenga province before executing around 170 people on February the 25th. The statement did not name the attackers. Burkina Faso is battling in an Islamist militant insurgency in its north and east. Armed groups, some affiliated to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, regularly launch attacks on civilian and military installations. The violence has killed almost 20,000 people and displaced more than 2 million in one of the world's poorest countries in a region wrecked by instability. The prosecutor said that his office had launched an investigation and appealed to the public for information. About half of Burkina Faso is outside government control, as armed groups have ravaged the country for years. The Sahel country's military junta has achieved some success against the armed groups, but like neighbors Mali and Niger, has not managed to defeat them or reduce the danger they pose to civilians. Haiti's government declared on Sunday a state of emergency and nighttime curfew in a bid to regain control of the country after a deadly gang assault on the capital's main prison that allowed thousands of inmates to escape. The curfew will be enforced from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the Oust region, which includes the capital, through Wednesday, the government said in a statement, adding that both the curfew and the state of emergency can be extended. About a dozen people died as gang members attacked the National Penitentiary in Port-au-Prince overnight, Saturday into Sunday, an AFP reporter observed. The attack came as part of a new spate of extreme violence in the Haitian capital, where well-armed gangs who control much of the city have wreaked havoc since Thursday. The gangs say they want to oust Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who has led the crisis-wrecked Caribbean nation since the assassination of President Jovenel Moise in 2021. Only around 100 of the National Penitentiary's estimated 3,800 inmates were still inside the facility on Sunday after the gang assault. Pierre Esperance of the National Network for Defense of Human Rights said an AFP reporter who visited the prison on Sunday observed around a dozen bodies outside it and hardly anyone inside. We'll be taking a look at our weather predictions shortly. Katima can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 21 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 38 degrees Celsius. Oshakati can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 22 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. And Rehoboth can also expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. After the break, we'll be taking a look at our entertainment news. The Kora Awards on Friday, the 1st of March, announced its top 20 for the 2024 edition, featuring Namibian talent in 3 categories: the Els and Young T Wakonga for Best Artist/Group, Lioness for Best Female Artist Rap, as well as Gaza Kegi, The Vibe, Ice Beastland, and LVMU for Best Collaboration. For the top 20, music lovers will have 1 month of free voting, giving their favorite artists and personalities the opportunities to rise to the top of the rankings. Then 2 months of paid voting will allow true enthusiasts of African music and culture to show their unwavering support. Voting lines will open to the public via the official Kora website and the app starting Monday, the 4th of March. Read a post by Kora Awards on their official Instagram page. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Good day, viewers. On today's Sunset News, brought to you by SportsRep. The Namibia Rugby Union Club Rugby Leagues will kick off on the 16th of March. But last Saturday, the first teams of FNB Wanderers and FNB Grootfontein took on each other in a preseason warm-up match. The game was played at the field of Pioneers Park Primary School. At halftime, Wanderers were ahead by 19-12 before eventually winning the match 26-17. Here are some highlights from that match compiled by Andrew Pullman.
That was Brian Munango with our daily sports update. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning. From me, Glenn Rashipura. Until next time.